In a historic referendum in August, Kenyan voters overwhelmingly approved a new constitution which could radically transform the country. The new constitution and its implementation was the subject of discussion recently at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Many Kenyans greeted the passing of the new draft constitution with a sigh of relief. It was the result of nearly a decade of intense debate. There were the raw memories of the 2007 post-presidential election violence, and many were apprehensive of what could happen if the draft failed to pass. Ken Nyaundi is a commissioner with the Kenya Interim Independent Electoral Commission that conducted the referendum for the new constitution.
Looking at what happened in 2007, we really knew that this was a make or break for the country. And we managed to arrange a program and a process in training of our personnel, civic education, voter education. We ran a big and intense TV shows, radio talk shows that really talked to the nation in emphasizing the need to have a peaceful referendum.
In the run-up to the referendum, politicians and civil leaders traversed the country to urge citizens to vote. The international community encouraged Kenyans to conclude the process peacefully, but those opposed to the new constitution accused the United States of favoring the proposal. Michelle Garvin, Senior Director for African Affairs at the National Security Council and a senior advisor to President Barack Obama, says the U.S. simply supported Kenyans in their reform effort.
Our strategy and our effort has never been about trying to promote the reform agenda simply because we believe it's the right thing to do. It's been much more focused on trying to be supportive of Kenyan civil society and those pull factors from within Kenya that are kind of pulling leadership along in advancing that agenda and moving forward.
There were concerns that Kenyans would not understand the full content of the new draft constitution. Nyaundi says the Committee of Experts on the Constitution Review of Kenya took care of that by conducting a countrywide civic education program and producing a summarized version of the Constitution.
There are certain critical factors that everybody basically understood were critical in passing this Constitution. And you're talking about land, the land question, devolution of power and resources to the people. And these were largely understood.
The draft was approved by a 70% majority, and there was no question that Kenya had crossed a critical threshold. Many say, though, that the passing of the draft was just the beginning. It will take up to 5 years for the Constitution to be implemented fully. Economist David Ndii says implementation is going to be a challenge.
There is about over 50 pieces of legislation that will need to be enacted. So that's just the first challenge of just having to design, draft, debate, and pass those pieces of legislation. That's just a lot of work. The second one is setting up new institutions. There are several new institutions that need to be set up.
Whatever the challenges ahead, many Kenyans welcome the new constitutional dispensation, which they view as a sign of finally breaking away from the vestiges of colonialism, abuse of power, and all sorts of injustices. Now, one issue that has been addressed by the new constitution is land, which has been a source of conflict and even bloodshed since Kenya gained its independence from Britain in 1963.